and forward clutches. Now, as you can see, this steel is very scored and very wavy. When you get down on a table, you can see that it's not flat. Okay? The clutches and the steels are supposed to be flat, so when you lay them out, you can see that it's flat. Okay? So this burnt up a little bit. You have your direct clutches here, which seem to be scored on these steels and burnt on the clutch friction material itself. Then you have your overrun clutches, which work in between the 3/4 shift so that it's a 3/4 shift is smooth. What we have here is our second gear band. You can tell that it's pretty burnt. It's got a lot of scoring on it. Alright? And then we have the rear band. This is low and reverse. Okay? What we have over here is a sliding hub for the overdrive direct. And then you have your direct drum and pump moving forward. We pan over to the transmission. Reverse drum. The reverse drum has a snap ring and a Teflon washer. Once you remove the snap ring, you can remove the drum. Drum is removed. You can see that here the snap ring has been installed. The intermediate shaft comes up through the bottom of the transmission, through the planetary and the sun gears and the drums, and then the snap ring is applied right here. Now what happens is the band applies on the low and reverse drum. The servo applies, it applies the band. What happens is now this sun shell starts to spin the opposite direction. Well, it starts to spin the opposite direction, and it causes the planetary inside to spin backwards. Although it looks forward this way, when you turn it around, it is reverse. Okay? What we're looking at now is the overdrive section. It's in a press because there's an 800-pound spring that needs to be compressed so that you can get the overdrive direct clutches out. Now, as I pan into the barrel, you'll see that there's an annulus gear and there's roller clutches down here. The roller clutches is there, and they apply so that when the 3/4 shift is applied, it comes on smoothly. Now, this is a planetary. A planetary is a set of gears, has 4 gears, and this is how you get your gear ratios. Alright, what happens is, after we get this in here, now we've put in our special tool in, it's an alignment tool. It keeps everything in alignment so that when you put the overdrive section onto the back of the transmission case, there is no problems. So let's put our tool back in there. Okay, it lines up perfectly. You see the drum moves? Okay, we're ready to put in our sliding hub assembly, which has the 800-pound spring behind it. Now that the sliding hub assembly has been put into the overdrive unit, you put in 1 clutch, 1 steel, 1 clutch, 1 steel. In this unit, there's 10 clutches. Once you get them all in, you see here is the alignment tool for the overdrive unit. It lines the planetary up with the clutches, the 800-pound spring. And without this, you won't get the tail onto the transmission. The overdrive unit onto the tail of the transmission. Now you can see all the clutches have been installed. We're going to put on the top plate. And you lay your snap ring in there. Now, what happens is, either you buy a tool or you make a tool. I made one out of a PCV pipe. Nice and easy, okay? It fits right here. It lets you put the pressure on the spring. and put the snap. Now I am pressing the spring. You'll see it start to move. Once you get it down far enough so that the clutches fall into the drum, you install the spring clip installed, because it's a wavy snap ring, okay? We'll release the pressure off the lift. Sounds like Halloween a little bit. Now we're putting in the overdrive clutches. It starts with one wavy steel, then a steel, then a line plate, then a steel. All right, notice that the parts we put in are all asbestos. All right, they're the best clutches on the market. They're high friction, high energy. They last a long time with good parts. Much better than the original parts that came in the Chrysler unit. Clutches assembled and the top steel plate on, which is the reaction plate. You put in the round snap ring on the top, which I'll show you is round. Most snap rings are either beveled or square. Alright, here's the tool. You can now remove the tool. Here's the roller clutch. It's a series of springs and rollers. Alright, and some of the electronics that come out of the unit. Here is a brand new roller clutch from Borg Warner. Alright. Every unit gets a brand new one. A lot of builders will reuse these parts. These parts here, some of these they reuse. I'm going to put them where they belong, in the garbage. As you can see, we put the drums in, and now we're putting the band on. Alright, let's off the servo here. See, the pump has been installed. Time to put the pump bolts in. We're going to line up the band. Final. Right, now we're putting the band struts in. Put the band struts in. Anchor strut. And now you roll the strut in and tighten the band. Alright? The nut goes here after final adjustment. Now you can see that the band struts have been attached and tightened down. We've put the overdrive unit on. We've secured the bolts. Final assembly is pretty much done. We'll lay it down, we'll put the valve body in, and then we'll paint it, install it, and hopefully never see it again. Here I started to disassemble the valve body. Here are the electronics that are going to be changed. That's the shift solenoid. Here is the new one, brand new out of the box. These two will also be seen here. We're assembling the valve body. We need to torque the bolts down to specification, check your book for it, make sure your electronics are hooked up. The new electronics are in, they're all hooked up. They went through the case. You check your neutral safety switch, make sure your linkage works. Install your output speed sensor so you have a speedometer, and you're ready to go. A complete unit. All nice and painted. You have your pump, the new pump seal, the pump shaft. Nice clean unit. Don't ever be fooled by a competitor, because my competitor will try this. This is the converter that came out of the truck. Now, this is so overheated, it's purple. Okay? If you look at the discoloration of it, alright. We bought a billet cut converter. Now, if you look on the back, it has tags where you put the bolts into, little places. Alright. This is a billet cut converter. Alright? You see how heavy duty the side of this one is compared to that one? And look, now it doesn't have those things. It has a round, stationary plate on it with holes in it that locks it to the flywheel. And again, it says billet. This was made by the manufacturer. It also says, there you go. But, woohoo! louder than it sounds. All right, now, you see on the side of this, this is not billet cut. Hold on. Billet cut? Not billet cut. All right, here we go on the installation. You can see that the first thing you do is you make sure that there's no wires in the bell. You put all brackets on. Unacceptable to leave a bracket without a bolt in. Check the top of your bell. No wires. Okay? Right now Ronnie's putting in the filler tube. So I'll get out of his way. See, the truck is down. We're getting ready to fill it up, take it for its road test. Go beat it up a little bit, make sure that it's going to do what my customer's paying me to have it do, which is take a beating and keep on ticking. All right, I'll let you know. Yeah. That's... Hey, so what's your impression of how the torque converter went in this?
Great. Very, very good.
How about the towing capacity?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Big difference?
Much better.
And what do you usually tow on this? How much poundage?
We usually, we're capable of pulling at least 10 grand.